Listen quietly and reflect deeply. There are moments in life when wealth does not come. Not because the world is empty, but because our doors are open in the wrong way. Not all loss is visible. Not all leaks are made of broken walls or empty pockets. Some leaks are silent. They flow through habits, thoughts, and the unseen energy of our daily actions. The front door of your home is not just wood and metal. It is the mouth through which life enters. It is the eye through which opportunities see you. And if this doorway is neglected, blocked, or filled with disorder, then even abundance will hesitate before stepping inside. For 7 days, you are invited to walk a different path. Not a path of force, but of awareness. On the first day, stand before your front door in stillness. Look at it as if you are seeing it for the first time. Is it welcoming or tired? Is it clean or burdened? Gently clean it, remove dust, wipe the handle, clear the space around it. As you do this, do not rush. Let each movement carry intention. When you clean the door, you are not cleaning wood, you are clearing resistance. On the second day, bring light. Darkness at the entrance invites stagnation. Open the door during daylight. Let fresh air move through your home. If there is a light above or near the entrance, ensure it works. Light is a silent invitation. It whispers to opportunity, you are welcome here. On the third day, remove what does not belong. Shoes scattered without care, broken items, unnecessary clutter. These are small signs of inner disorder. Wealth does not settle where confusion lives. Create space not only outside your door but within yourself. On the fourth day, place a symbol of growth near your entrance. It may be a small plant, something living and green. As it grows, let it remind you that abundance is not an event, it is a process. Water it with care, just as you must water your intentions. On the fifth day, speak gratitude as you cross the doorway. Whether you leave or enter, pause for a moment. Whisper thanks not for what you lack, but for what already exists. Gratitude is a powerful magnet. It does not chase wealth, it attracts it. On the sixth day, observe your thoughts as you pass through the door. Do you carry worry, fear, or doubt inside with you? These are invisible thieves. Before stepping in, release them. Before stepping out, carry clarity. The doorway becomes a boundary between chaos and peace. On the seventh day, sit quietly near your entrance. Close your eyes and imagine your home filled with ease, with flow, with enough. Not excessive desire, but calm sufficiency. Feel it as if it already exists. The mind, when aligned with belief, becomes a doorway greater than any physical entrance. And when these 7 days pass, understand this: nothing magical has been forced into your life. Instead, you have removed what was quietly pushing abundance away. Wealth is not only money. It is ease in your heart, clarity in your mind, and flow in your life. When your entrance is open with intention, life responds in ways you cannot always predict. So do not underestimate simple acts. A clean door, a mindful step, a grateful breath. For sometimes the difference between lack and abundance is not the world outside. It is the way you welcome it in. Your front door represents energy flow. It is not just an entrance, but a symbolic gateway where opportunities, wealth, and life energy enter your home. The front door of your home is more than a physical structure. It quietly reflects the state of your inner and outer life. Many pass through it every day without awareness, yet it stands as a silent gateway between your personal world and the vast flow of opportunities beyond it. When this entrance is ignored, cluttered, or treated without care, it begins to mirror confusion, stagnation, and even subtle resistance to growth. In the same way that a river cannot flow freely when blocked by debris, the movement of abundance into your life can be slowed when the point of entry is neglected. To understand this deeply, one must shift perspective. Instead of seeing the door as an object, begin to see it as a symbol of invitation. Every guest, every opportunity, every possibility must pass through this space. If the doorway feels heavy, disorganized, or lifeless, it quietly sends a message not only to the outside world, but also to your own mind that you are not fully ready to receive. This is not about superstition, but about awareness. The environment you maintain shapes the thoughts you carry, and the thoughts you carry shape the reality you experience. When you approach your front door with intention, something subtle begins to change. Cleaning it becomes more than a task, it becomes a form of releasing resistance. As you wipe away dust, you are also clearing layers of neglect. As you remove unnecessary items, you are creating space not just physically, but mentally. The act itself becomes meditative. Each movement slows the mind, bringing attention to the present moment, and in that presence, clarity begins to grow. There is also a quiet psychological effect at play. When you step into a home that feels open, clean, and welcoming from the very entrance, your mind relaxes. Stress softens and a sense of control and stability arises. This internal state is important because decisions made from calm awareness are often wiser than those made from chaos. In this way, caring for your doorway is not directly bringing wealth, but it is preparing you to think and act in ways that naturally attract better outcomes. Light, space, and order at the entrance also influence how you perceive your own life. A bright and open doorway creates a feeling of possibility. It reminds you, even unconsciously, that there is always a path forward. On the other hand, a dark or crowded entrance can reinforce feelings of limitation or heaviness. Over time, these small impressions accumulate, shaping your beliefs about what is possible for you. This practice is not about perfection. It is about intention. Even the simplest effort, straightening what is out of place, allowing fresh air to pass through, pausing for a moment before stepping in or out, begins to shift your awareness. And when awareness changes, actions follow. When actions change, results begin to transform. So the doorway becomes more than an entrance, it becomes a teacher. Each time you pass through it, you are reminded to release what is unnecessary and to welcome what is meaningful. In this quiet, consistent practice, you begin to align your outer space with your inner state. And when both move in harmony, the flow of life becomes smoother, more open, and naturally more abundant. Cleanliness and order remove financial blockages. Keeping the entrance clean, bright, and clutter-free helps eliminate hidden leaks that block abundance. Cleanliness and order at the entrance of your home may seem like small, ordinary matters, yet they carry a deeper influence than most people realize. When things are left scattered, broken, or neglected near the front door, they quietly create a sense of disorder that extends beyond the physical space. This disorder does not stay outside, it follows you inside, shaping your thoughts, your mood, and even your decisions in subtle ways. Over time, this unnoticed chaos can become a silent barrier, one that slows progress and creates what feels like constant leaks in your efforts to grow financially or emotionally. When you begin to bring order to this space, you are not simply arranging objects, you are sending a clear signal to your mind. A clean and organized entrance creates a feeling of control and readiness. It tells you without words that your life is not scattered, that you are capable of managing what comes your way. This quiet message strengthens your confidence, and confidence often leads to better choices. Better choices repeated over time become the foundation of stability and growth. Clutter, on the other hand, carries a different message. Piles of shoes, unused items, or broken objects near the door can represent unfinished decisions. Each item that remains there without purpose subtly drains your attention, even if you are not consciously aware of it. Your mind registers these things as incomplete, and this creates a background noise that can lead to stress, distraction, and even procrastination. When the mind is constantly dealing with small, unresolved signals, it becomes harder to focus on opportunities or make clear financial decisions. Removing clutter is, in a sense, an act of reclaiming energy. As you clear the space, you may notice a feeling of lightness, not because the objects were heavy, but because the mental weight attached to them begins to lift. This lightness allows your attention to return to what truly matters. It creates room for new ideas, new plans, and new possibilities. In this way, what seems like a simple act of tidying becomes a step toward clarity and direction. Order also creates flow. When your entrance is open and unobstructed, movement becomes easier. You enter and leave without hesitation, without stepping around obstacles or feeling resistance. This physical ease reflects into your mental state. Life begins to feel less blocked, less complicated. And when life feels manageable, you are more likely to take action instead of avoiding it. There is also a sense of respect involved in maintaining this space. When you care for your entrance, you are showing respect for your home and for yourself. This respect builds self-worth, and self-worth influences how you handle money, opportunities, and responsibilities. A person who values their space is more likely to value their time, their work, and their resources. Over time, these small changes begin to compound. A clean, ordered entrance leads to a calmer mind. A calmer mind leads to better decisions. Better decisions lead to fewer mistakes and more consistent progress. What once felt like financial leaks begin to close not through magic, but through awareness and discipline. And so, by simply creating cleanliness and order at your doorway, you begin to create the conditions for something greater. You remove what drains you, you strengthen what supports you, and you quietly prepare yourself for the steady flow of abundance to enter without resistance. Small daily actions create powerful shifts. Simple habits over 7 days, cleaning, organizing, and observing, gradually transform your environment and mindset. The idea of removing what does not belong from your entrance is not only about physical space, but also about the mental and emotional patterns that quietly attach themselves to your daily life. Many people live surrounded by small signs of disorder without realizing how deeply they affect inner clarity. A broken object that remains unfixed, unnecessary items stored just for later, or clutter that slowly accumulates near the doorway all begin to create an invisible heaviness. This heaviness does not announce itself loudly, but it works silently in the background of thought, shaping how you feel each time you enter or leave your home. When you begin the process of removing what does not belong, something shifts inside you. It is not just the environment that becomes lighter, but also the mind. Every object you release carries with it a small attachment, an old intention, a forgotten plan, or a piece of delayed action. As you let go, you are also letting go of mental delay. This creates a sense of movement, as if life itself is no longer stuck in place, but slowly beginning to flow again. There is a deep connection between clarity in space and clarity in thought. When your surroundings are filled with unnecessary items, your mind learns to accept unnecessary thoughts as normal. You begin to tolerate confusion both outside and inside. But when you consciously choose to clear your space, you are also training your awareness to recognize what is essential and what is not. This simple act strengthens your ability to make decisions more clearly in other areas of life, including finances, relationships, and personal growth. The entrance of your home holds particular importance because it is the first point of contact between your inner world and the outside world. If this space is filled with disorder, it can subtly influence how you receive experiences. You may begin your day with a feeling of hesitation or end it with a sense of unfinished energy. But when this space is clear, open, and free from unnecessary weight, it creates a psychological transition that feels smoother and more intentional. You step out with more focus and return with more peace. Removing what does not belong also teaches discipline. It is easy to ignore clutter because it does not demand immediate attention. However, choosing to address it requires awareness and consistency. This practice strengthens your ability to face small responsibilities before they grow into larger burdens. Over time, this habit extends beyond your home and begins to influence how you manage time, money, and commitments. There is also an emotional release that comes with letting go. Many objects we keep are tied to past versions of ourselves, past decisions, past struggles, or past uncertainties. When these objects remain at the entrance, they symbolically stand between you and your present life. Clearing them away is a way of acknowledging that you are no longer the same person you were before. You are allowing yourself to move forward without unnecessary weight from the past. As this practice continues, you may notice that your mind becomes quieter. Thoughts feel less scattered and your attention becomes more stable. This is because external order often reflects internal order. When the environment stops demanding unconscious attention, the mind is free to focus on what truly matters. In this way, removing what does not belong is not an act of loss, but an act of alignment. You are not emptying your space, you are refining it. You are not reducing your life, you are making room for it to expand naturally. And as the doorway becomes lighter and clearer, you begin to experience life with less resistance and more flow, allowing new opportunities to enter without obstruction. Gratitude and awareness attract wealth. Being mindful and expressing gratitude at the doorway aligns your inner state with abundance. Gratitude spoken at the doorway may appear to be a small and simple gesture, yet it carries a quiet power that shapes the way a person experiences life. The moment you pause before entering or leaving your home and acknowledge what you already have, you shift your focus away from absence and toward presence. This shift may seem subtle, but it begins to influence the tone of your thoughts, and in time, the direction of your actions. Many people move through their doorways in a rush, carrying thoughts of what is missing, what is delayed, or what is not yet achieved. In such a state, the mind becomes tuned to lack, and when the mind is constantly focused on lack, it begins to overlook the opportunities already present. Gratitude interrupts this cycle. It brings awareness back to what is already stable, already available, already supporting life in quiet ways. When you express gratitude at the entrance, even silently, you are training your mind to recognize abundance in the present moment. You are no longer waiting for life to become better before feeling appreciation. Instead, you are acknowledging that something is already working, already holding you, already giving you a foundation to stand on. This simple recognition creates a sense of emotional balance. The mind becomes less restless, less driven by urgency, and more grounded in awareness. There is also a deeper psychological effect. Gratitude reduces internal pressure. When pressure decreases, clarity increases. Decisions become less reactive and more thoughtful. In this way, gratitude does not directly bring wealth, but it creates the mental conditions in which better choices are naturally made. And better choices repeated consistently often lead to improved circumstances over time. The doorway becomes a symbolic checkpoint for this practice. Each time you cross it, you are given an opportunity to reset your inner state. Before stepping out into the world, you can align your mind with appreciation rather than worry. Before stepping back in, you can release the weight of the outside world and return with a calmer presence. This small pause becomes a bridge between external activity and internal peace. Over time, this habit begins to shape identity. A person who consistently practices gratitude starts to notice small positives that were previously ignored. They become more aware of support systems, more sensitive to progress, and more open to receiving help and opportunity. This awareness gradually replaces the mindset of scarcity with a mindset of sufficiency. Even in difficult situations, gratitude does not deny reality. Instead, it adds balance to it. It allows a person to see that even within challenge, something still remains steady. This steadiness builds emotional resilience, and resilience is one of the quiet foundations of long-term stability in life. As this practice continues, the doorway transforms into more than just an entrance. It becomes a reminder to pause, to breathe, and to acknowledge life as it is, not as it is feared or desired to be, but as it currently stands. In that moment of awareness, something shifts internally. The mind softens, the heart steadies, and life begins to feel less like a struggle and more like a continuous flow that can be met with calm recognition. Wealth begins within, not outside. True abundance flows when your thoughts, emotions, and environment are in harmony, allowing opportunities to enter naturally. True abundance does not begin in the outer world, it begins in the inner landscape of thoughts, emotions, and awareness. The way a person experiences life is shaped far more by their inner state than by external circumstances. Even wealth, opportunity, and success are often filtered through the lens of perception. When the inner world is filled with fear, doubt, or disorder, even good opportunities can feel uncertain. But when the inner world is calm and aligned, even small opportunities can grow into meaningful change. The practice of observing thoughts while moving through the doorway is a way of becoming aware of this inner landscape. Each time you pass through your entrance, you are transitioning between two states inside and outside, rest and action, reflection and engagement. In this transition, thoughts often arise without notice. Worries about the future, memories of the past, or concerns about present responsibilities may enter the mind. If these thoughts are left unchecked, they can quietly shape your mood and influence your decisions throughout the day. By simply noticing what you carry in your mind at the doorway, you begin to create distance between yourself and your thoughts. You realize that you are not the thoughts themselves, but the observer of them. This awareness brings a sense of freedom. Instead of being pulled automatically by every worry or fear, you begin to respond with choice. You can release unnecessary thoughts before stepping into your home, and you can choose clarity before stepping out into the world. This practice also reveals how often the mind carries invisible burdens. Many of these burdens are not real problems in the present moment, but projections of possible outcomes or memories of past experiences. When these mental patterns go unnoticed, they accumulate like clutter in an unseen space. Just as physical clutter near the entrance can create heaviness in the environment, mental clutter creates heaviness in perception. By consciously releasing these thoughts at the doorway, you are training the mind to reset. You are creating a habit of returning to neutrality before engaging with life again. Over time, this habit builds emotional stability. You become less reactive to external events and more grounded in your internal awareness. This stability does not remove challenges from life, but it changes the way you experience them. There is also a subtle empowerment that comes from this practice. When you observe your thoughts instead of being controlled by them, you begin to feel a sense of mastery over your inner world. This sense of mastery naturally extends into outer actions. You become more deliberate in your decisions, more focused in your efforts, and more consistent in your behavior. These qualities are often what separate instability from long-term growth. In this way, the doorway becomes more than a physical threshold. It becomes a point of reflection, a moment of awareness, and a place of inner alignment. Each crossing becomes an opportunity to let go of what is unnecessary and to carry forward only what is clear and useful. And as this awareness deepens, something quiet but powerful begins to change. Life feels less scattered and more coherent. Choices feel less forced and more natural. And gradually, the sense of constant loss or leakage is replaced by a feeling of steady flow, where energy is no longer wasted on unconscious patterns but directed toward meaningful creation and growth.